It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Southwest.
Hi everybody, welcome into this week's show. I am so happy that you're along with us for the ride as we come to you this week from the deep south. Right over my left shoulder. It's about 45 minutes south of Birmingham, Alabama at famous Lay Lake. Lay Lake is located on the Coosa River chain. It's got several famous lakes up and down it, starting with Weiss Lake, then Neely Henry, and then Logan Martin, and then right here at Lay. The lake is famous for a lot of reasons, but one of those is the great bass fishing here, both largemouth bass and the famous Alabama spotted bass. They grow bigger here than anywhere else in the country. So we're gonna get out and do a little fishing for those today, and we'll be taking you around the region for your latest local fishing reports. We've got reports from Louisiana with Cajun Phil, from Oklahoma with Gary Dallahan, from Texas with Brian Hughes, and Saltwater with Bill Olson. So I'm excited on a cloudy, overcast, windy kind of a day. Could be good for fishing. We're gonna launch the Nitro Z8 and the Mercury Pro XS Optimax into Lay Lake, see what we can find. Right now, we take you back to the FSN studios for your weekend planner.
The Solunar tables are showing mixed conditions for weekend fishing activity. Saturday is expected to have poor conditions, while Sunday looks to have fair activity with the best times beginning about 8:30 in the morning. Expect sunrise to take place at 6:32 with sunset happening at 8:16. And evenings will be lit by a moon that is 82% visible. We'll be right back with all of the current fishing reports from around the Southwest. And I'll return with professional angler Timmy Horton to answer a question about braided line for this week's Whataburger Ask the Pro.
Hey, thanks very much. We've made it out onto Lay Lake. Got a little sun peeking over the clouds here, but it looks like it's going to be a cloudy, overcast, windy day. Let me tell you a little bit about the lake, a few statistics. First of all, it's 48 miles long, but only 12,000 surface acres, which tells you that it's just pretty much a long, winding river with some back bays off of it. It's an old lake, impounded in 1914. It's got 288 miles of shoreline, an average depth of 22 feet, so it's fairly shallow, and it's got all kinds of fish in it. The lake has hosted the Bassmaster Classic 4 times, most recently in 2010 when Kevin Van Dam won it with a big stringer of fish all caught right in the back of Beeswax Creek where we're sitting right now. Got some rods rigged up. We're going to get to fishing. Stay with us. We'll be back to Lay Lake, south of Birmingham, Alabama, right after this.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Mercury Marine, celebrating 75 years of marine excellence. By Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. By Tracker Boats, it's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. And by Fort Worth Nissan. Fox Sports Outdoors is powered by Fort Worth Nissan.
There's one. I don't think he's very big, but it feels like a bass. Oh, he's hooked under the chin. Just a little largemouth. All right, just something to get it going. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Glad you're with us. I'll show you the equipment we're going to use in just a minute, but that's just a little largemouth bass to get it started right there. Let me get you set up on Lay Lake. This lake, again, is on the Coosa River, and there's really 2 completely different types of fishing to do here. One, you can get out on the river and fish mostly for spotted bass. You do that on rocks, all kinds of rocks and docks right on the main river channel. Then you can get back off the river channel, and that's where we are right now. And back here, there are lots of boat docks to fish, boat houses, little rock points, and a lot of weed beds. In fact, let me roll in a little bit of video here of several of these big weed beds that we've run across back here. All kinds of great bass holding cover. Those are going to be mostly largemouth bass back in here. So that's where we are right now, back here, maybe trying to catch a largemouth or 2, just fishing some of these docks and some of these little rock walls right in front of us here. So we'll fish down a little bit of this and see if we can find what the bass are doing today. The water's kind of dingy, a little off color. It's really perfect bass color. You can see down about maybe 18 inches or so in the water. The lake's at really about normal level, it looks like. So this is just kind of what you can expect when you come here. This is a great fishery, really all times of the year except for the winter. They had a really tough winter this year, as you know, this past winter, and it killed a lot of the big milfoil beds. And there used to be tons of milfoil in this lake, and I've looked around a lot and I've seen very little of it. So mostly what you see here is just some weeds, docks, and rocks to fish, and then some big floating weed beds kind of out in 4 or 5 feet of water. All right, let's get you some fishing reports right now, and let's start it off in Texas with Brian Hughes in freshwater and Bill Olson down on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you by DECK, the innovative truck bed storage system, who remind you, work smarter, play harder. Now speaking of playing, the Kids Fish and Play Day at Purtis Creek State Park is this Saturday, May the 10th. Now these events are normally held on the first Saturday in June because that's National Fishing Day across the country. But the folks at Purtis Creek moved theirs forward in order to take advantage of A, cooler temperatures, and B, shallow, more catchable fish that we have in May on the lake. Speaking of the lake, great shape right now. It's at full pool. All species, bass, crappie, catfish, and of course the brim should be available to these little anglers using nothing more than light line, a small hook, and either a minnow, earthworm, or a cricket. If you'd like directions, hours, or any more information, call the park office or look them up on the web. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by DECK, reminding you, work smarter, play harder. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, with a full moon occurring on May 14th and temperatures that continue to run near normal, speckled trout spawning activity is in full swing. Anglers from Port O'Connor, Rockport, and Port Aransas that are fishing grass beds are finding solid fish with eggs. Good spawning fish are also showing up in East Galveston Bay, as well as Chocolate Bays and the satellite bays around San Luis Pass. Topwater lures, bass assassins, live shrimp, or voodoo shrimp under a rattling float are all catching fish. Now anglers fishing the Louisiana shoreline of Sabine Lake, as well as chasing birds, are catching solid trout with reds mixed in. Action around the Texas jetties continue to heat up for trout and sheepshead. The grass beds behind Matagorda Peninsula in West Matagorda Bay is seeing some good trout action. Glass minnows have shown up on the shorelines in the afternoon. With rising water temperature, parts of Baffin and the upper Laguna Madre have an algae bloom. Use live bait or rattling type baits to fish stained water. The backside of Mustang Island has fish working back lake shorelines. Port Mansfield is seeing good fishing from East Cut northward into the land cut. The shoreline on the backside of Padre Island and the grass flats are all holding fish. Anglers fishing the color line behind the South Padre Island Convention Center northward have caught some good fish. Longbar continues to heat up. So has south of Cullens and in South Bay. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
There's one. That's not a bad fish. Come here. What is it? Largemouth? No, that's a spot. That's one of those good spots right there. All right, we did it. Caught a spot. Yeah, there is your Coosa River spotted bass right there. That's what I came 13 hours from my house to catch. Look at that, little smallmouth, got a couple of patches of teeth on his tongue. Got those lines kind of faint down his side right there. Just a gorgeous fish right there. And that's just a good 3-pounder or so, something like that. All right, that one hit a jig. Strike King tour grade football jig right there. All right, that's just a good thing to happen. That one was classic stuff right there. I had fished down a whole bunch of weeds, hit a little patch of rock, little sloping off rock that sloped off into 6, 7, 8 feet of water, something like that, and hopped that jig down it, and boom, he hit it. So that was really cool right there, and that's the classic thing that happens right here is those spotted bass tend to get on rocks, boat ramps, rock retaining walls or concrete retaining walls, chunk rock, any kind of boulders or rock that you can see sloping off anywhere close to the Coosa River channel is where you're going to find these spotted bass. All right, well, we've got a little something working. I got a little surprise I'm going to show you coming up next, so don't go anywhere. You're going to really enjoy what I'm about to show you, something that doesn't happen very often on our show. But right now, we're going to get you some local fishing reports from your neck of the woods. Let's go to Oklahoma, and here's Gary Dollahoe.
Hey, the McClellan-Kerr Arkansas River Navigation System is a really cool fishery on the eastern side of the state, and the fish are biting up and down the entire stretch of it. It basically starts northeast of Tulsa at the Port of Catoosa, runs all the way down to Kerr Reservoir. Now there are locks up and down the river system, so you might want to look at a map online to figure out where those locks are and also your access points. There's lots of access points up and down the entire stretch. Now one of those areas, the Afton Pool ramp, is located between Coweta and Wagner. It was closed for a good part of last year. It is open back up, a nice ramp, beautiful campground. You might want to check it out because it has access to beautiful fishing areas like you see right here. Get back up in some of those creeks, you can catch fish on soft plastics around some of the laydowns and stumps. Also, crankbait, square bills, and spinnerbaits are working well in front of the riprap areas, anywhere you see some rocks along the bank. Now even Weber's Falls itself has some great bass fishing going on right now, and then when you get on down into Kerr Reservoir, you also have excellent crappie fishing. Those crappie are in the grass spawning at this time. Now all of the stretch has some color to the water right now, so your best colors in soft plastics are your black and chartreuse pepper variations. In the case of your spinnerbaits, white and chartreuse skirt, gold blades, and then for your square bill crankbaits, go with a white or a shad color variation for doing that. You're going to catch those fish. Great fishery, eastern side of the state, check it out. I also want to ask you to please join me with your thoughts and prayers for those in the region that have been impacted by the recent storms that have come through here. Lots of devastation. It's impacted a lot of our good fishing buddies and their families. We want to keep them top of mind at this time. Great time of year to be fishing in Oklahoma, but one thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
I happened to run into a really nice young guy who was pre-fishing for a bass tournament this coming weekend here on Lay Lake, and he had a phenomenal 10-minute period. He made a few casts and caught a 5 bass limit that would weigh well over 20 pounds in under 10 minutes in one spot. He was nice enough to let us throw these bass over in our live well just so we could show these fish to you. Now they're probably gonna go nuts when I get in here and try to get them out of here, but I'm gonna show these fish to you. We're in the Nitro live well here. There's one of them, good quality largemouth. There's gonna be 5 of these, and I'm gonna throw all 5 of them back here. There's another one right there. That might be a little spot right there. There's 2 of them. Here comes number 3. There's another largemouth right there, about a 4-pounder or so. There's another one right there. That's number 4. And then that one would be his kicker right there. That's close to a 5-pound bass right there, and that one's gonna go back. And there's the last one. And that's what can happen in 10 minutes on the right patch of rocks with the Strike King square bill crankbait right here at Lay Lake. Stay with us, we're coming back for more. Don't go anywhere. This is a dynamite fishing night.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Luz, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. By Lowrance Electronics, find, navigate, dominate. And by Whataburger, get your day started at Whataburger with a new jalapeno cheddar biscuit.
There we go. Look at this, big fish. That's a big bass right there. Big old Lay Lake bass. Look at this, holy mackerel. And look at the size of this big toad. This is a whopper. All right, hey, we got it all laid out for you. Showed you what we're doing, and that's Strike King KVD 2.5 crankbait, big square bill, and that's a big toad right there. In fact, I ought to put the scale on him. Let's jump a scale on him right quick. Hang on. Okay, zeroed out. Now let's see what she weighs here. 6'5", 6 pounds and 5 ounces. How's that? That's a good bass for you right there. Had to stick it in the live well second, change the batteries in my scale. What a beautiful Lay Lake largemouth bass right there. We're gonna let that fish go back. Just go back in there, get on that grass bed again. All right. Oh man, all right. Hit a square bill crankbait and just cranking it off the edge of some of those docks and some of that outside grass right there. You never know what's gonna happen. That one's bigger than I thought I would actually catch today. 6 pounds and 5 ounces. Let's crank it up over in Louisiana with Cajun Phil and Kevin.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here for your Fox Sport Louisiana Saltwater Report. I tell you what, Captain Sean McCray and I, we had a good group of guys. They wanted to catch some big reds. We went down to the Gulf Jetty. I tell you what, we caught them on some fresh bait. We caught them on some crack crab. We caught a bunch of oversized redfish. Caught a few drum. Things are finally starting to pick up here on Calcasieu Lake. Yesterday we had a nice mess of trout. The trout are coming on soft plastics on 1/8 and 1/4 ounce jig heads, probably in 3 to 6 foot of water. Your redfish right now just starting to really come in. All these came from the Gulf Jetties, like I said, dead shrimp and crack crab. If you want to make a trip down here to Lake Calcasieu, the number's on the screen. You can give us a call.
Thanks, Captain Kevin. I tell you what, friends, you remember just a couple of weeks ago I was telling you that our rivers, Red River, Calcasieu River, and also the Sabine River, were all muddy. Fishing wasn't good. Well, you know, every evening we have what we call a Wednesday evening dog fights, where they got little tournaments on the rivers, where I'll stop by this week. The rivers are really pretty, and I talked to the anglers that were catching fish. They were coming in with limits. All the boats had limits today. I tell you what, one of the boats said they caught all of them on a chug bug. That was Mr. Willard Booty. I hadn't heard of a chug bug in years. It's a little topwater bait. Most of the anglers said they were throwing either spinner baits, buzz baits, or the small Strike Pro crankbait, the one that doesn't run very deep at all, and they were catching them on those baits. They said the chartreuse colors seem to be working the best. Rivers are really pretty right now. If we don't get no more rain, it ought to be good for quite some time.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Welcome to the big leagues.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Whataburger Ask the Pro. This week's question is from David, who asks, what is the best knot to use with braided line? For the answer, let's ask professional angler Timmy Horton.
In fishing braided line, the knot that I use is a polymer knot. And one of the things that's tricky on that a lot of people have problems with is they leave the tag too short to begin with. So when you pull it down, leave the tag a little bit longer until you get it pulled down very firm. Now once you get it firm, it's not going to slip anymore. But remember, braid is going to slip a little bit more than a fluorocarbon or a monofilament. So leave that tag a little bit longer until you get it firm, tight, then trim it down. Now what I trim with is just a sharp pair of scissors. You can't really use dikes or pliers or anything to cut braided line, because cutting fishing line is really crimping it and breaking it, where you actually have to cut braided line. So get a sharp pair of scissors, and that's what I like to use when I'm using braided line. Now, a lot of people ask me, what about the length of the amount of time that I leave braided line on a reel? And guys, I leave it on there for a long time, a lot more than fluorocarbon or monofilament, sometimes an entire fishing season.
Thank you, Timmy. If you have a question for one of the experts, visit our website, follow the Ask the Pro link, and let us know. Now let's see which viewer wins the Costa Catch of the Week.
Hey, thanks very much. We're back at the boat ramp, loaded up, and it's time right now for the weekly winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. She is Jana Harridge of Hewitt, Texas, showing a 36-pound blue catfish she caught at Lake Waco, Texas. And by the way, she says they catch a lot of blues this size. And if you'd like to enter our Costa Catch of the Week contest, all you have to do is go to the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. The right-hand side of the front page is the Costa Catch of the Week area. Click in that box, follow the instructions, send us your photo. You could be our next winner of a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses like the Tuna Alley frame style that I was wearing on this week's episode. Now you can see that the Costa website by clicking on the Costa logo on the front page of our website. You can see this frame style along with all of their frame and lens styles. Next up on the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff, it's the gear you'll need to do some of the fishing that we did today on Lay Lake. I love the brand new Lew's David Fritz Speed Stick cranking rods. They come in several different lengths and different actions. Now, the one that I was using today was a 7-foot medium action. I want to show you what's great about it for crankbaits. It's got lots of flex from the tip to about halfway down the rod blank. And that allows you to feel that crankbait, and then when a fish gets it, he can't pull off because there's lots of flex in that rod. It's a great rod series. See it at the Lew's website by clicking on the Lew's logo on the front page of our website. Let me show you some of the baits that you can use to catch bass here on Lay Lake. On your far left is the Strike King Tour Grade football jig. Did a great job of fishing those rocks and the outside of the weed beds. Then, to fish here at Lay Lake, you'll always need a lipless rattling crankbait like the Strike King Red Eye Shad. That's a good shad color with a little bit of yellow in it. Then on the far right-hand side here is the Strike King KVD Square Bill crankbait. It's kind of a red and reflective color there. It's a 2.5, dives about 2.5 or 3 feet deep, and it caught that big one that you saw on this week's show. Last year in October, tragedy struck the Professional Bass Fishing Tour when an angler pre-fishing for a Bassmaster tournament was shot and killed in the parking lot just outside his motel. It seems that he woke up in the night, looked out the window and saw someone burglarizing his boat rig. He went outside to confront that individual and was immediately shot and killed right in the parking lot. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this season that both my wife and I just recently got our CHL, our concealed handgun license, and we do carry our weapons. But the lesson out of this tragedy is this: don't be a hero. If you look outside and see someone stealing your stuff, go back inside, pick up the phone, call 911, and let the trained law enforcement professionals handle the situation. No boat rig, no truck, no gear is worth losing your life over. Hey, I hope you enjoyed our trip to Northeast Alabama, south of Birmingham, to Lay Lake and the Coosa River. And as you saw, there are some good quality largemouth and spotted bass in this lake, and I think you would enjoy a trip here. Hey, don't forget to join us next week on Thursday night and on the weekend. You can always catch the latest airtime for the next episode right on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Until next week from Lay Lake, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.